themes, what's next, not what happened 10 or 20 years ago. So ultimately, my final message that I like to give to people is thinking about generosity and how that works. We have a lot of volunteers that come through Urantia Foundation. The groups that the UAI represents are volunteer groups. Because of the way that it's worked out in terms of particularly money and time and finances, we've asked the UAI if they could take on more tasks. So the more kinds of programs that can be developed in groups like the UAI, particularly because you are the group that works closely with us, and other groups or people as well, the better off the whole movement will be. And I think I can open it up for a few questions, and then we have Marvin.
I just want to make an observation. When you mentioned the numbers of books that have been sold, 600,000, my guess is very few texts, much less texts of that size, have the entirety of the text on a number of major websites. And the fact that the book is referenced and downloaded in very, very large numbers electronically, in addition to the 600,000, is something that is very unusual for a whole text. And it dramatically expands the impact of what the text is doing, and that's a huge factor.
Our website, I think the primary usage now is reading the text online, particularly in other languages like Portuguese and Russian, and we just this last month had a huge, like 1/3 more accesses. I don't really know why, except that they were all like in the Portuguese and Russian and Spanish texts, so somebody's reading it online.
How many visits to the website a year?
Well, maybe 2 million. Is that? I mean, that's the average. Every year it goes up. It's been going up ever since we got the website, every year. Sometimes it'll drop a little bit for a while, but it trends upwards. So, well, our internet access and the use of the internet has kind of settled down. As long as you're coming up on the Google search on the first page, you're probably going to get people that are trying to look into a phenomenon are going to find you. Probably, okay, if we're getting 180,000 unique visits to our website every month, you can imagine that those are probably not all readers. We don't have that many readers. So those are mostly people who are curious about the Urantia book. And I think that's another thing to think about when you're developing sites, and that's what we try to do with ours, is that actually the site is designed for people who are asking, what's this book and what is it about? Miriam?
If, for instance, a celebrity did put you in the position that you say where it might be more than you can handle, is there a plan B to get the book printed in China and
I think really we would have to look at the situation and think on our feet. But if there actually was evidence that there was a real demand, then we could probably get a publisher or more than one publisher involved. Because we published with Donnelly, I had got some insider information on Harry Potter printing, and Donnelly was involved in publishing that. But there were several other publishers, and they like the way they make aircraft. They each did parts of it and then assembled them, of course, in secret, so no one could get at them in certain places. And I heard already that there were some where there were sections missing, where they blew it. But it was a major effort in the U.S. publishing industry to get all those books ready on one day. Every major publisher was involved, as far as I can tell.
that will be enlightened life.
Yeah, probably.
If you're getting about 2 million hits a year on an average.
Well, actually, it's accesses, meaning a visit.
A visit, right,
Yeah.
hits. Well, do you take cookies, or is anyone dealing with the cookies?
No, we decided not to do that back when it was first designed. But this year, later on this year, I'm going to be meeting with a team to look at redesigning our website. There's thousands of pages now, so it's kind of a big task about how we'll do it, but it will be something we'd look at now if we want to try to start capturing more information, or maybe have a member area. Another thing that I do think is that because we have more than one Urantia-related website on the internet now, there's no reason for Urantia Foundation to reproduce something that somebody else is doing well. I'm trying to avoid doing that. I'm trying to figure out what we can provide that nobody else can. And besides talking about what is Urantia Foundation and something about what is the Urantia book, then because we have all of these translations, that appears to be one of the most popular things we provide now, is the translations online.
You have authors that write fiction for children using Urantia as a root knowledge base for their fiction?
There are people that have done that. The Urantia Foundation right now isn't involved in what we call secondary works. Basically, we just haven't gotten into that. It's another area. But in the past, people have, and there may be other groups that are publishing those from time to time. They're usually self-published. But you could talk to people here. There's probably a lot of people here that have some information about that I don't.